5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. The Constitution Assembly was a significant and monumental body formed to create the foundational legal framework of a nation. It represented the collective will of the people and was tasked with drafting the Constitution, which would serve as the supreme law governing the country. The Assembly emerged as a result of a long struggle for independence, during which people fought to establish their right to self-governance and to form a political system that reflected the aspirations and values of the citizens. The formation of the Constitution Assembly marked a crucial turning point in the history of the nation. It was composed of representatives from various regions, communities, and political groups. This diversity ensured that multiple perspectives and interests were taken into account during the constitution-making process. The Assembly was not just a political forum, but a platform where debates on rights, duties, freedoms, and the structure of government were held with great enthusiasm and seriousness. The members of the Constitution Assembly were chosen through a democratic process, reflecting the desire to make the new constitution as inclusive and representative as possible. These members came from different walks of life, including lawyers, activists, social reformers, and politicians. Their collective wisdom and experience were crucial in addressing the complex challenges faced by the nation at that time. They were aware that the Constitution needed to provide stability and justice while also being flexible enough to evolve with changing circumstances. The primary objective of the Constitution Assembly was to draft a document that would outline the fundamental principles and laws of the country. This document would define the nature of the state, the rights of the citizens, and the powers and responsibilities of various organs of government. It would establish the framework for the functioning of the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, ensuring a balance of power and preventing any abuse or misuse of authority. One of the most important aspects of the Assembly's work was to ensure that the Constitution guaranteed fundamental rights to all citizens. These rights included equality before the law, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and protection from discrimination. The members recognized the importance of these rights in creating a just society and in protecting individuals from arbitrary actions by the state or others. They also emphasized the need for social justice and aimed to address issues such as poverty, illiteracy, and social inequality through the provisions of the Constitution. The debates in the Constitution Assembly were intense and often prolonged. Members discussed various models of governance, such as federalism versus unitary state, the role of the head of state, and the extent of legislative powers. They examined examples from other countries and incorporated ideas that were suitable for their own context. The Assembly faced challenges in reconciling differences between regions and communities, but the commitment to unity and democracy guided their efforts. Another key element of the constitution-making process was the inclusion of provisions related to the judiciary. The Assembly wanted to create an independent judicial system that would act as a guardian of the Constitution and protect the rights of citizens. The judiciary was given the power to review laws passed by the legislature and to ensure that they conformed to the Constitution. This system of checks and balances was seen as essential for maintaining the rule of law and for preventing any concentration of power in one branch of government. The Constitution Assembly also paid special attention to the structure of the legislature. They decided on a bicameral system with two houses to ensure representation of different interests. The members believed that this would provide a forum for thorough discussion and scrutiny of laws before they were enacted. The Assembly also laid down the qualifications and procedures for the election of members to the legislature, emphasizing transparency and fairness in the electoral process. The executive branch of the government was another important topic of discussion. The Assembly debated on whether the executive should be powerful or limited in authority, and how to make it accountable to the legislature and the people. The final decision reflected a balance where the executive was given enough power to govern effectively but was also subject to checks by the legislature and judiciary. Provisions for the appointment, tenure, and removal of the executive were carefully crafted to maintain stability and accountability. Throughout the constitution-making process, the members of the Assembly were guided by principles of democracy, justice, liberty, and equality. They aimed to create a constitution that would unite the nation and provide a framework for peaceful coexistence among its diverse population. They understood that the Constitution was not just a legal document but a social contract between the government and the governed. The Assembly also considered the economic and social conditions of the country while drafting the Constitution. They recognized the need to promote economic development, social welfare, and education as means to improve the lives of citizens. The Constitution included provisions for the state to undertake efforts to reduce poverty, improve health care, and promote education for all. These measures were seen as essential for achieving social justice and for building a prosperous nation. The work of the Constitution Assembly was not without challenges. Members faced disagreements, conflicts of interest, and the pressure of representing diverse groups. However, their dedication to task and the vision of a democratic and inclusive society helped them overcome these obstacles. They worked tirelessly, often for long hours, to ensure that the Constitution reflected the aspirations of the people. The final draft of the Constitution was presented after months of deliberation and discussion. It was then subjected to further scrutiny and approval by the Assembly members. The Constitution was adopted with the hope that it would serve as a lasting foundation for the governance of the nation. It was designed to protect the rights of all citizens and to ensure the smooth functioning of the democratic system. The Constitution Assembly left a legacy that continues to influence the nation's political and legal systems. Stop.